Is it same? Some people say Kenya in some ways even more developed. What do you think?
No, so South Africa is still Big Brother. Right?
Big Brother, right?
Still Big Brother. So
okay.
Yeah, so South Africa is Big Brother. So so yeah, no, I wouldn't say. I would say, yeah, South Africa is still miles ahead of Kenya. So we are playing catch up. Just in all.
In terms of the
even in technology,
competition, market.
So
yeah.
What Kenya does have is that we have a very good tech community, and that's the backbone of that is that we have, at least from as far as I can tell, a relatively good education system that allows us the opportunity to study in technology and other areas. So Kenya, just Africa in general. So Kenya is basically top 3, right?
Yeah.
But the difference between Kenya and South Africa is there's quite a gap, right? I can't speak for South Africa. I just can't speak through proxies, through friends that I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have everyone there. You have the Amazons, you have the Googles, the Microsoft. The development centers that are there are much bigger than the ones that are here. So in the last 5 years, we've had Google, Microsoft, Amazon come here. And they're starting to make a big presence here, but nothing compared to what they have in South Africa. Actually, one of the things that people don't know, so you know Amazon AWS, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows what an EC2 is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think not everyone.
Not everyone. But basically,
even my knowledge is a little shallow.
Okay. All right. Let's refresh that. So an EC2 is just what Amazon labels their virtual machines, right?
Yeah.
Virtual machines, basically, like a server, whatever it is, but whatever OS you want, Ubuntu, Linux, Mac OS, Windows, and all of that, you can launch that from the cloud. Basically, have a cloud machine that is running, right? So that's EC2. So EC2 is the basis of most, if not all, AWS services. So if you think about any AWS service, say like Lambda is the serverless offering by AWS, right? So and what it offers is basically tells you we are taking away the headache of you managing servers. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of engineers, when they start off, you have to learn how to code. And also, when you code, you want to deploy, say, a website or a web application, you have to deploy it somewhere. So most of the time you deploy it in a machine, in a server, right? And the server is a virtual machine. So most of the time you would have to manage that virtual machine. So that means if there's any security patching that you want, you have to do that. If you want to increase capacity like RAM, CPUs and all of that, because maybe you're scaling or your application needs to use more resources, you have to do that by yourself, right? So the serverless offering takes that headache away. It tells you, don't worry about managing a server and all of that. We'll just provide a runtime for you. So if your application is in PHP, you have a runtime PHP for you. If you want to scale, it's elastic. If you want more cores, if you want more capacity, if you want more disk space, you want all of this. Flexible. So the only headache you have is just deploying your application, right? That's the serverless offering. But all of these services and everything, a lot of goods, over 90% of the services are based on EC2. So EC2 itself, right, was or is based in South Africa, the EC2 service, which is like the backbone of a lot of AWS.
When you say it's based, means like it's physically the servers are there?
So there is so the concept that AWS uses regions. So there is a region. So for example, that's one of the things. There is a region in South Africa.
It's called EC2.
No. So EC2 is a team that actually creates, manages the EC2. Created the EC2 service, manages, adds features, maintains, and all of that. And it's and all of it's based in South Africa. That's the backbone of everything. So that's how big South Africa is. I'm just trying to show this. So South Africa is the only region in Africa for AWS, for example, right? No other place in Africa has a region. Kenya has an edge servers. Edge servers are basically just caching. It's not compute, it's just basically serving static files. Like if you go open Instagram, Facebook right now, right?
Yeah.
So if the server was all the way in America, right, you'd imagine that would take a long time for it to load, right? So edge servers bring that content closer to you. So in Kenya, we have data centers that, cache. Caching is basically saving data close.
Temporary.
Yeah, exactly. Closer to you. So that's why it loads a bit faster, right? So that is what Kenya has, right? But it doesn't have data centers that actually run the application, like say the Instagram or the Facebook or whatever case may be. But South Africa has both of them. So it has actually this big tech company have invested in data centers to have compute, EC2s and all of that. So that's how big South Africa is.
Okay,
right?
okay. Now I know.
So Kenya is still very, very, very young, early days, but it's definitely like top 3 in Africa. Yeah. So because if you think about technology in Africa, you'd think South Africa, Kenya, and or between the two of them, Nigeria, because Nigeria has a lot of tech talent, not just within Nigeria, but all over, including Kenya, including South Africa. They offer a lot of tech talent, right? So, but the 3 countries, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, are shining, like the shining armors of Africa. Also, but East Africa in itself is so growing. I know Rwanda is big right now in tech. It's a very small country, but they have invested a lot in technology, and they welcome everyone. So there's a lot of Kenyans that go to Rwanda and work from there because it's very open minded.